Not clearing your mind or sages or incenses or cleanses, weird cleanses or candle burning. Like, no. Like, none of that stuff. What's up, geeks? It's your guy Q here, aka JGTV, and I am back with another one, guys. And today we are back with another one, God over culture, meditation. So we're gonna jump right into it. Most of the time when God and meditation are used in the same sentence, it's usually someone condemning someone else, right? Now, meditation is not a bad thing, but it can be, right? So let's ask ourselves two questions, right? Why are you meditating, and what are you meditating on, right? So what are a few reasons why people meditate, right? We have coping skills, right? We have it reduces tension, right? It increases concentration, right? None of these reasons are demonic or bad reasons to meditate, right? And yoga, just like meditation, can have these same effects, right? And what are some of the things culture tells us to meditate on, right? Because that's what the segment is all about, right? God versus culture, right? So culture tells us to focus on things when we're meditating, like what? Like our breath, right? Sounds, maybe nature, right? Chants or sayings, incense or cleansings, mantras, right? And I'm gonna be honest with you guys. In this case, you may be leaving yourself susceptible to some demonic spiritual warfare in some sense, right? Because if we're doing things like shrooms, psychedelics, and having inner outer body experiences, this is where we're kind of touching on the realm of things that are a little bit demonic. Now, this is what culture will tell us, though. Culture will tell us to meditate on these things, and in fact, these things will get us the results we want: less stress, right, less tension, and all that other good stuff. But in reality, there are plenty of studies that show that there's adverse effects to meditation, especially a lot of meditation. So I'm gonna read an article by Dr. Willoughby Britton, a director of clinical and effective neuroscience, right? So let's see what this doctor has to say about meditation here. Willoughby Britton, director of the Clinical and Effective Neuroscience Laboratory at Brown University, runs a support group for people like David, people for whom meditation has caused a psychological and physical crisis. Each week, she gets more emails from people who are struggling, asking for her help. I'm seeing a lot of casualties, she says. The group connects online where people of all ages and backgrounds across 9 time zones come together and find solace and in the company of others who are also suffering from the negative side effects of meditation. More than 75% of research studies on meditation aren't measuring or monitoring adverse effects, Britton tells me. Last year, she published the largest study on meditation-related problems, interviewing 100 meditation teachers and other meditators who had personal knowledge of such issues. In that study and a follow-up study she's working on now, she tells me that there were some common symptoms. There's hyperarousal, increase in anxiety, fear, panic, insomnia, trauma, flashbacks, and emotional instability. There can also be sensory hypersensitivity or sensitivity to light and sound. At first, it might be pleasant. Colors get brighter, a person starts noticing more things, When that keeps going, then suddenly sounds are really irritating, or you can't leave your house because you hear everything and it's really distracting, she says. The pendulum can swing the other way, and a person can experience hypoarousal. This can look like dissociation or disembodiment. A person will feel like they're outside of their body, or that they can't feel their body, or that they don't have a body at all. People describe a loss of emotion beyond what they wanted, and loss of motivation or enjoyment of things, Britain tells me. So that right there, and that's just one study that we have of this one director who's saying, hey, there are a lot of studies that are going on with meditation where the adverse effects are simply just not being monitored, right? Again, like, we're not saying meditation is bad or you're associating with demons if you're doing meditation. We're just saying, based on the things that culture is saying meditation is, it's not the right way to do it, right? So let's take a look at what God says about meditation, right? We're going to hang out in the book of Psalms today, and then we're going to jump over to the book of Philippians, right? So David spent a lot of time with God, right? And clearly so did Paul. But we know that because it's written all throughout Scripture, especially in the book of Psalms, right? Where David is constantly meditating on God, whether it's through prayer or through music, worship, whatever have you. Same thing with Paul, right? So let's get into some of these verses so we can kind of get an outlook on what God thinks about meditation. I'm going to read Psalms 63, chapter 63, verse 6 first. And I'm going to be reading the Message version. If I'm sleepless at midnight, I spend the hours in grateful reflection, because you've always stood up for me. I'm free to run and play. I hold on to you for dear life, and you hold me steady as a post. So right here, we see that David's emphasizing on, hey, if I'm having a sleepless night, right? Plenty of us have been told, like, if you're having trouble sleeping or experiencing insomnia, meditation is a good way to go, right? Maybe even some yoga, right? But David says here, if I'm sleepless at midnight, I spend the hours in grateful reflection. So right there, he's showing us, like, hey, for insomnia, right? If you're having trouble sleeping at night, reflect on the good things that God has done in your life, right? Reflect in the times where he said, you've always stood up for me, where God has been there for you, right? Where he's provided for you, where you thought you weren't going to make it through something, but you did, or you weren't going to be able to deal with something, but you came out of it, right? So this is the way that David tells us to reflect or to meditate if we're having trouble sleeping at night, right? So we're going to go over the Psalm, and I'm going to read chapter 119, and I'm going to go from verses 97 to about 104, I believe. Yeah, we'll be from 97 to 104. Okay, so here we go. Oh, how well I love all you've revealed. I reverently ponder it all the day long. Your commands give me an edge on my enemies. They never become obsolete. I've even become smarter than my teachers. Since I pondered and absorbed your counsel, I become wiser than the wise old sages, simply by doing what you tell me. I watch my step, avoiding the ditches and ruts of evil, so I can spend all my time keeping your word. I never make detours from the route you laid out. You give me such good directions. Your words are so choice, so tasty. I prefer them to the best home cooking. With your instruction, I understand life. That's why I hate false propaganda. By your words, I can see where I'm going. They throw a beam of light on my dark path. So I went to about 105 right there. But here again, David's telling us, like, hey, when I'm having any type of trouble, all I do is I reverently ponder on all day all of the things what you've done for me, right? He's explaining that because he thinks and he meditates on God's word and he spends time with God, he actually becomes wiser because of this. He says it right here, right? He said, I become wiser than the wise old sages, right? Simply by doing what you tell me. Like, he emphasizes here that because he spends his time meditating on God's word, he's actually becoming smarter. So that tells us that depending on what you meditate on, it can actually affect your smarts, right? It can actually affect if you're getting smarter or dumber, because what you're meditating on. Now, I'm not trying to offend anybody, but I don't think meditating on your breath or sounds of nature is actually going to make you smarter. Some may argue with me though. So we're going to go over to the book of Philippians, and I'm going to read chapter 4, verse 8. Now this is Paul talking here to the church in Philippi. Summing it all up, friends, I'd say you'll do best by filling your minds and meditating on things true, noble, reputable, authentic, compelling, gracious, the best, not the worst, the beautiful, not the ugly, things to praise, not things to curse. So Paul is saying here, like, obviously this church was struggling with certain things that they were dealing with, right? Where their mind was going throughout the day, things they were thinking about, right? And Paul is saying, hey, it's best if you focus on these things, right? What's true, what's noble, reputable, authentic, right? Gracious, the best, not the worst, right? The beautiful, not the ugly. He's saying if you focus on the ugly instead of the beautiful, of course you're going to be depressed. If you focus on the worst instead of the best, of course you're going to have trouble sleeping at night, right? If you focus on things to curse and not things to praise, of course you're going to have consistently bad days. So Paul's trying to tell these guys, like, hey, depending on where your mind is at, this will affect how you view life, right? Focus and meditate on these things that are true. And this will also affect your body, right? This will also affect your level of depression. You won't experience mood swings as much. You won't experience seasons of depression so often because you'll be spending time with God. You'll be meditating with God, right? So the Bible is saying, if you're going to meditate, do it in this way, right? What way? Prayer, reading your Bible, devotion, worship, right? Not clearing your mind or sages or incenses or cleanses, weird cleanses or candle burning. Like, no, like none of that stuff. That's like voodoo and demonic, and listen, I know like some people are gonna argue with me on this, and they're like, why can't I just burn my incense and my sage and just like clear the room, dude? You know, like get all the spirits out. And it's just like, no, because you're not talking about Jesus in that sense. So whatever spirits you're getting out of there, you're definitely dealing with something demonic if we're not talking about Jesus, right? So go back and look at the video superstition I did. I did it a couple days ago, and I think you guys are going to be able to find that useful because a lot of that stuff is witchcraft. And I'm not saying that meditation and yoga is witchcraft, but what I am saying is that depending on what you're meditating on, you know, your breath, nature, sages, cleanses, candle burnings and stuff, you are leaving the door open for some demonic spiritual warfare. So hey, I hope you guys got something from this. Just like superstition, this was something that I was looking forward to talking about. I encourage you guys to share this video. Share it with any New Age Christian friend you have, anybody who's really big on yoga or meditation, or has questions about if God even cares about meditation, or does God tell us to meditate. Share it with somebody else, guys. Don't forget to subscribe, like this video so it can get pushed up on the algorithm, and don't forget to stay tuned because we're coming in with the next God Over Culture, and I'm not revealing it. So what do I always say, guys? Love yourselves, love one another, but most of all, love God. Peace.